All right, welcome to Kaijudo 24/7. I'm Jared Dockstader, and this is our review of the spoilers for the upcoming set Invasion Earth. We're moving into water. If you just came from the Light Civ video, you saw me kind of go into the water, but we'll get a redo here. So first up, Aqua Trickster, a level 2 corrupted Aquan 1000. Not very intimidating to look at initially, but really when you think about it, he is going to be an enabler for a lot of the evos and corrupted, a lot of the corrupted evos, as well as just being a 2-drop that has the abilities that the evos are enabling. Also, and I said this last set review, he is an Aquan, and we have a strong Aquan evo at level 5 that is unblockable and double breaks. But it might not be good enough nowadays anymore, but I still think that guy's really good. So he's an enabler for that. Yeah, that's about all to say about rate abilities. Shoot, explain our scale. 1 to 5, 1 being probably not playable, 5 being holy cow, this needs to be almost in every deck that is running that color. This guy would probably be I'm gonna give him a 4. I'm gonna optimistically give him a 4 because he is corrupted, and a level 2. I mean, that's just so cheap to be able to just evo on top of, or have a dude with a bunch of utility abilities. So I'll give him a 4. Next up, we have Engulf, level 3 Shield Blast. Your opponent chooses one of his or her untapped creatures in the battle zone. Return that creature to your opponent's hand. So here we have a Vale Vortex, kind of. It's very interesting that we see this spell as well as the white equivalent for 1 when we saw the green and black equivalents in Dragon Strike at like 6. I guess because they were like hard removals that they are warranted the higher cost. The black one just banished, your opponent picked and untapped and banished it, and the white one they picked and untapped, and the green one they picked and untapped and mana zoned it. So obviously these aren't as solid of answers. Bouncing a dude is just kind of not as great, but I mean we're seeing. I mean, this is the rise of tempo in Kaijudo. I mean, we're seeing it more and more and more and more and more. And this is just another really great tempo card. I mean, again, if you're playing a rush list and you've got this in your list and they drop a blocker, do you think that blocker is going to be tapped? No. So you just bounce it out of the way and swing in with your dudes. And then you follow it up turn 4 with a Rusalka. Then you follow it up turn 5 with the person that we didn't get to in the list. And then we get to turn 6 and we drop General Finbar, and then we probably win by then. So I mean, there's just a lot of bounceability right now. This isn't on a body, so it's not as strong, but I think it's still like it fits into the tempo curve so well that it's kind of hard to ignore. So I would give this a 4. I think I gave the white one a 4 as well. I mean, they're just so cheap. It's just so easy to cast them and still do other things that I think they definitely warrant the higher ratings. Guardian Rusalka, here we go. There's the level 5 fitting into that tempo curve. Fortunately, I think they kind of fixed the issues. Like the first Rusalka was a level 4 that bounced the dude, and he was small, but I mean, like, it was still a body. So then the follow-up turn, if you had yet another bounce spell, you had a body now to swing with. This guy can't. He has guard. He's just a bigger Rusalka that can attack but can also block. Here we see they're finally starting to, or not finally, but they're continuing their tradition of kind of reusing keywords here. Psionic Rebuke is exactly what it's called on the 4-drop Rusalka. So there's still that, which is good. Boy. So it fits in the curve. It is very proactive in a rush heavy meta that's pretty strong. Bounce a dude and then just have a blocker there. But otherwise pretty underwhelming just because he does have the guard, which is, smart. They needed to do that. That was a good balancing call on their part, Wizard of the Coast. So I give this a 3. Maybe a 2. I don't think we'll see him too much. He does fit in the bounce curve, but you'd almost rather play like a Grip of Despair rather than this guy. So, I mean, there's that. And Rusalka, obviously, the art's he's pretty menacing. Moving on, we have King Barnacle, level 5 Leviathan, blocker, guard. When this creature enters the battle zone and whenever it blocks, you may draw a card. I actually like this card a lot. We haven't really seen Leviathan control since Bobby Brake used it to pick up his win at the champs, but I still think that's a deck. I mean, like, Esper Leviathan control just could be still very strong, I think, with all the rush running around and having access to King Coral and Squalachi Scourge and this Leviathan now that'll just replace himself when he comes into play, and then if you need a block, he's gonna draw you, get you value, as well as save a shield. I mean, and just it's costed pretty aggressively, 5 for 5k. Blocker guard. I mean, guard's obviously not as good because he can't swing into things, counter swing into things that have attacked, but it's still, the ability to replace himself is nothing to be underestimated. Just keeping up with card advantage, especially like in something like a control mirror. This guy's still not bad. I mean, he will still jump in front of a Andromeda or Haven or Kalima or I mean, like, you name it, he'll still jump in the way and draw you a card. So I think this is worth taking a look at and trying to brew with a little bit. If you're trying to brew like a Leviathan control list, I'd give it a 4. Definitely a 4. Moving on, Morphine Pod, level 6 Shield Blast. Put target creature on the bottom of its owner's deck. That player reveals cards from the top of his or her deck until a non-evolution creature of the same level or less is revealed. That player puts the revealed creature into the battle zone, then shuffles the remaining revealed cards and puts them on the bottom of his or her deck. So if you play Magic, Polymorph, kind of. I don't know how I feel about this card. I mean, against it's really odd. Like, maybe someone could build something around it and abuse it, but it's just so, like, it just costs a little too much, I think, for it to be like built around and really broken. I'll give it a 2. I don't think we're gonna really see anything with this. I mean, like, your options would be to play like if you play something where you're curving all of your creatures pretty efficiently, and like only keeping a certain amount of creatures at certain levels so that you can guarantee hits when you morph away some of your own creatures, then it's very strong. And it has like some pseudo niche goodness when you morph away an opponent's creature. Say something that can't attack yet because it is shield blasted, and then you whiff it away. As they have to reveal the cards off the top. So I mean, if it takes them all to hit a creature, you're getting deck knowledge, or you're kind of getting an idea of card counts and what kind of cards they're running. So it's not a complete bust. That's why I'm not going to give it a 1. But I don't. I think it's going to be a little bit before we see this card really do something crazy. So 2. Next up, we have Celestial Choten's Lieutenant, level 4 Cyberlord, second in command. Whenever one of your corrupted creatures attacks, you may draw a card, and then each of your corrupted creatures can't be the target of your opponent's spells that are level 4 or less. This is a very strong card. I will give this a 4.5. I guess I would give it a 5 for corrupted decks. Just being able to make all of your corrupted creatures untargetable by level 4 or less spells is pretty decent if you're playing something really aggressive. It just turns off Bone Blades. A lot of the spot removal it turns off, or the cheap, easy to use spot removal for some of the decks. I mean, we've seen how strong untargetability is in this game right now. And then of course the Finbar type effect, where whenever another attacks, you can draw a card. We've obviously seen how strong that is with Finbar in the Cyberlord decks, or even in Megabugs. I mean, just restocking the hand, getting more juice, sticking more threats into play. So definitely like a 4.5 or 5. Very strong card. And Celestial Choten's right hand man. So the art's pretty interesting. I mean, there's not a whole lot to him because he's just kind of Cyberlordy blobby, but I mean, he's got the T100, the Terminator claws going on there, so that's pretty good. Moving on, Veil Slip, level 5 Shield Break. Put a non-evolution creature that is level 8 or less from your hand into the battle zone, then return that creature from the battle zone to your hand. Very interesting. Oh God, I'm gonna give like gut reaction 2. But built around properly, it could be very strong. Level 8 or less really opens it up to certain creatures. I mean, slipping a Lyra into play to tap a dude down, it's like giving you a conditional shield break. I mean, if you have something like a Lyra or a Razor Kinder puppet or old-fashioned Razor Kinder to like eat things, anything with like an interplay effect could be very interesting with this card. We'd have to kind of take a look back at what we have at level 8 or less that would interplay and really make a splash. But this is marginally okay. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see it like really breaking anything. So a 2. I think you'd almost just rather have a removal spell or a tutor or a draw spell or something at this spot rather than like a weird pseudo trick, because the thing doesn't even stay in play until end of turn. It just comes back right away, so it's not like it can stick around and block if it gets shield broken too. So yeah, level 5 Chimera 4,000. Oh, we're in black now. Okay, that was it. Veil Slip blue. You're done. Thank you for watching. Move on to the next videos if you like. Otherwise, if this is the last one of you watched, thank you very much for watching.